Hello everyone and welcome to a new viewer's verdict on a game I've actually covered quite a few times over the years on the channel called Bot War by Traders Galaxy. One of a few games that they do at this point, but based on a lot of late 80s, early 90s cartoons. And we're going to play a little bit of a smaller match today just to introduce you in case this is the first time any of you are giving Bot War a chance via the viewer verdicts. Speaking of which, if you aren't familiar, go watch the first video in the playlist. It goes into enough detail. Although the gist of it is, watch the video and then cast your vote whether you are for or against more Bot War regularly on the channel. You can go into as much or as little detail as you like for the decision that you decide to reach. Because this might be the first time seeing the game, as I just mentioned, we're going to play a little bit of a smaller game, a 50-point game. Well, one side's 51 points, but I'll let it slide. Usually games are played around 80 points, but we'll keep it a little bit small, and I'll have a quick overview of a stat card and just the general play, just in case it is the first time you're seeing it. But the match today is going to be against between the Valiants, who are kind of like the good guy robots, and the Deceivers, although it is some older sculpts, but I'll talk more about that in a second. So here is the Valiants. The cubes in front of them are how much energy they give into the general pool that at the top of each turn you give to your teammates. Like this guy over here, who's called Humvee, he generates 2, but you could actually give him 3 from the general pool if there's a lot you want him to do on his turn. Basic actions like moving, shooting, fighting in close combat, they all cost 1 cube, but each robot has a alt attack, for lack of a better term, that usually costs 2 to use. For instance, they might have skills that have upkeep, they might have a special rule that means that they're very efficient, so they only need 1 energy because they can do something for free in a turn. It varies from bot to bot. As I say, I will show you a stat card once we've gone over the side. But for the Valiant, this time we have Humvee, we have Long Stride, we have Forge Fire, and then we have General Duke. And add up to 50 points on the dot, with 3 of them being part of the Red Cannoneers. You can have subsets of Valiants. Back when I mostly played this game, Valiants were just one main faction. Now you can have kind of like different divisions that have very, very small bonuses, but because we have General Duke here, that particular bonus isn't going to apply anyway. But just thought I'd mention it. The game has moved on a little bit since the last time I had it on the channel. And coming in at 51 points, so 1 point advantage, we have the Deceiver list, and these are old sculpts for models that have now been completely redone. I think it's very obvious if you look at them who they're homaging, but they do look different now. They are combiners, they are capable of forming into a big single bot, and we have Dozer, we have Roller, we have Loader, oh sorry, this is Loader, that's Dump Truck, hence having the dump truck on his back, and then Digger over here as well, and the energy they produce is in front here. If they do decide to combine, it costs a lot of energy upkeep, so that's partially why they generate so much. We'll cover that if it happens rather than bog things down at the start here though, I think, and instead we'll have a quick look at a card and just go over how the game is played. This video is sponsored by Noble Knight Games. Check out the video description below for an affiliate link that will take you through to their store, and it will help me out as well. Thanks. So I think there is newer editions of cards that have a bit more information on the front of them, but the gist is the same. You have your bot name, you have how many points they're worth, and then you have your stats listed here, which hopefully aren't too reflective on where I've got this. So this is Humvee's card. You have a strategy rating, that is how fast they act in a given round. Lower is better, so strategy rating 10s go last, of which there's 1. General Duke is a strategy rating 10. I think literally everyone else on the field is strategy rating 6. When there's a tiebreaker, Valiants go first. It's just a rule that exists in the game. You have their movement stat, it's movement in inches. Ranged attack, how many dice to roll for that. Close range attack, how many dice to roll for that. And then shields, how many shield dice they roll. And that's basically it. You have attack dice, you have shield dice, and you have crit dice that you sometimes bring in for close combat or other special rules. You have their health bar, so he has 5 for instance. You have the ult that they have. Ram attack is the very common one for Valiants. They turn into a car and ram into the enemy. You have some special rules, for instance he's a pugilist, he's a sellsword, and how much energy they contribute to the pool, and that's basically it. During your turn you spend the energy you've been given to do things, usually move and attack, it would be the gist of it, and there are objectives There's some set scenarios in the rulebook. We are just going to do kill each other until we are dead today, again just to kind of ease people in, but there is an existing playlist of previous battle reports that use some of the scenarios that you can go back and look at if you are interested after this. So both sides are now set up and good to go. The Valiants are to your right and the Deceivers are to your left. I forgot to mention one other thing that you can use energy given to a given bot for, and that is to buff an attack or buff a defense roll against an attack. Might mean you have less that you're able to do when it actually comes around to activating, but it could save you in a pinch or guarantee that little bit of extra damage that might secure a kill. So I think that bit covers it. As I say, it comes down to strategy rating, who goes first, but with only one exception. Every single bot on the table is strategy rating 6. The rulebook does specify Valiants go first in tiebreakers. If you weren't playing with Valiants, you could just roll a d6. The game comes with a d6 for those purposes. So it's alternating turns though within a given strategy rating. So a Valiant will go, a Deceiver will go, etc, etc. Eventually it will lead to a double turn, I think, for the Deceivers, and then finally General Duke will go last because he is strategy rating 10, but he is very, very strong. As far as individual bots go, he is the strongest on the table. So I think that about covers everything. I didn't show you what the dice look like. Here is a sampling of them right here. The red dice are shields, so that's what you roll for defense. Purple is your basic attack dice, and the black ones are for critical effects, which you do sometimes use for defense rolls as well. But that's just, I don't think there is a fail on that. I think you're guaranteed a minimum of a 1. Yes, there's no fail on the crit die, so it is a minimum guarantee. So with that, let's get started. Bot War is usually a pretty quick game. It's not a long-term thing, so we'll just play it out and then you'll get your chance to say what you think. So of all the strategy rating 6s to choose from, the Valiant activated Forge Fire first, spending one of his 2 cubes on a movement action. He moves 7 inches, so he's moved up. Deployment was 5 inches in, by the way. It's one of the deployment types from the book. And then he spent a second cube on a ranged attack. Now the way ranged attacks work is from 0 to 10 is short range, 11 I guess, 11 to 24 is long range, which is what he fired at now. Long range attacks, you cannot boost long range attacks and you lose 1 attack die as well, so they're a bit more inaccurate and are less likely to do good damage. So 1 success was rolled on the 2 dice he was getting because his range attack stat was 3, but he's firing at long range, and he shot all the way down the field at, if we come over here, Loader, who has shield dice, 2 shield dice I should say, and he managed to block 2. Now, before any dice are rolled are the point at which you choose whether or not you are boosting to get an extra die. Because it was only 2 dice, it didn't seem worth it. I think there's 2 fail states on the shield die. Yeah, two fail states, 2 1s and 2 2s. But either way, in this instance, didn't waste any of his energy and managed to fully block the damage. So now it passes over to one of the Deceivers to activate. And turnabout is fair play, so Loader activated, spending one of his 3 cubes to move 7, and then spent a second to do a ranged attack. Normally rolling 3, but it's long range just, so he was rolling 2. He got 2 successes, and Forge Fire rolls 3 shield dice and was able to block them. Didn't have any option to boost because he used up all his energy he was given for the turn. But you will notice, Loader over here has one of the 3 cubes he was given left. Is there a reason to hold on to it like that? Yes. If someone else shoots at him, he can use it to buff his defense. So sometimes it's a good idea to hold on to power, especially because he couldn't spend it to buff his attack for now anyway. Now I will note here that Forge Fire has the Inventor keyword, which is actually a rule I wasn't familiar with, haven't used it before, which actually meant at the start of the game you should have rolled a shield die for him, and then depending on the result he invents himself something or actually takes a negative if he rolls a blank. So at the start of the game, roll a shield die. On the result of a 2, which is what he got, he gets given the Magnetic Disruptor Gun, which I believe, if I remember rightly, turns all his normal attack dice into black critical dice, but it means he can't shoot at long range. We're just still going to keep going. That first attack happened as is, but we will reflect that going forward. Yeah, model with the Magnetic Disruption Gun may exchange all their ranged attack dice for critical dice at close range. This does not include power boosted dice, so never mind it. It's perfectly fine. He can still shoot at long range if he chooses, and he can choose at short range to use critical dice without power boosting. So try and remember that going forwards. So the next Valiant activate was Longstride. He had 2 energy, he spent 1 to move 8, and he is a large lad. He popped up onto the mountain here and then did a ranged attack, losing 1 die for doing so, and shooting downfield at Roller. Now he has a rule called Nuclear Shells. If he lands a hit, then for the rest of the round it makes spending of energy cost double for actions and power boosting. So Roller is only going to be able to do one thing now, and if we just come over here, he rolls 3 shield dice, thought he was safe, but from roll of 4 it got through because he only blocked 3. Does 1 damage, which leaves him on 4 health remaining. We're going to use dice on the table. That's I don't think that's how we did it before back when we last played. I think that for watchability is easier to show how much HP they have left. We count down from maximum health here, not count up damage because we're not animals. So that's the way we're doing it, and when he activates he'll be doing one thing. The leader of this particular set of bots, called Dump Truck, activated, spending 1 of his 3 cubes to go forward 7 inches, and the second to do a long range attack into Longstride, saving 1 energy for himself to maybe defend himself later. Just realised you can't even see the dice results, but they are there. He managed to get 3, and Longstride, unfortunately for him, rolled double blanks. Now he has a rule called Iron Skin, which lets him re-roll a shield die against long range attacks. He did, and it came up blank again. So unfortunately for him, he took 3 damage, which is not what you want to see right at the start of the game. He has 7 health though, so he is down to 4 remaining. He's so little that it's hard to see, but the final activation in terms of strategy rating 6 characters was Humvee. He is hiding behind this building here to try and just block line of sight from a few targets. Had an extra energy after spending that one, did a ranged attack at long range, so just rolling 2 dice. He actually ended up doing very well with that. He shot into Dump Truck, who does roll 3 shield dice but only blocked 1. Disastrous roll, taking 3 damage and going down to half health. He's got 3 health left. That's the other thing to mention about Bot War. I keep forgetting this until I come back and play it. Every character can die real easy. It's very rare for a character to have a fair chunk of health. General Duke is the tankiest on the table, and he's got 10 health, which can still disappear pretty fast if you end up just rolling poorly on shield dice like that. So now it's going to be 3 activations in a row for the Deceivers, the rest of their activations for the first round in fact, because they're all strategy rating 6. Starting with Roller, he moved in behind this building for cover, and he had to spend both because of his debuff earlier, so he's got nothing left. In case you're curious, why didn't Dump Truck use that to boost his defense against that attack from Humvee? Anticipating General Duke potentially shooting at him because he doesn't have anyone else to shoot at, he's holding on to it for that. So next of those 3 was Digger, who spent 1 to move where you can see him, and then initiated a long range attack, 3 dice down to 2, and actually did really well, got the best possible result on one of those purple dice, and scored 5, shooting into Longstrider, who actually did much better with his defense roll this time, blocking 4, only taking 1 damage, but it does put him down to 3 health left. And the final activation for the first turn for the Deceivers was Dozer, who simply moved in behind his teammates and has retained 1 energy in case he gets shot at. Whatever could they be potentially planning on doing next turn, if all of them live that is, who knows. So that's them completely done, and then we would go to strategy rating 7. No one has that, there's no 8s, there's no 9s, we get to 10 and General Duke activates. So General Duke spent 1 of his 3 cubes to do a 7-inch move, yes, 7-inch move, right there, and then he spent another on a ranged attack. Still not within close range, so he couldn't spend that last one on a boost. He only got 3 successes. Dump Truck spent his last cube he didn't spend during his activation to boost his defense, so he was rolling 4 shield dice, which I think you can just about make out, but he did easily block 3 by getting a result of 5. So that does take us to the end of the round. At the end of the round, you collect all the energy back up, you generate your pool. If anyone has been killed, they obviously don't generate the power they would otherwise have, so it does cost you quite a lot to lose somebody. And then you distribute the energy again, and you roll back around to strategy rating 1 for turn 2. And here's how things stand at the top of turn 2 once all the cubes have been given out to the various bots. Humvee has 2, Longstride has 2, General Duke has 3, and Forge Fire has 2. It basically won't really change until we start losing people. For the Deceivers though, most of them have 2. Dump Truck has 3 again because he still wants to try and survive 1 more attack at the very least. But also, I keep forgetting who he is Loader, he has 3 because what he wants to do. If you're familiar with the game at all, you won't be surprised at this. He wants to spend a cube to walk over there and then combine. Will we see it happen? That all depends on which strategy rating 6 character activates first for the Valiants, because again, Valiants go first in tiebreakers. And can they kill anyone? Because if they can kill anyone, a combination can't happen. After some umming and ahhing, the best option to try and stop them turned out to be Forge Fire. It made the most sense because of that magnetic disruptor gun upgrade. He could move into close range and just roll the black dice, meaning he was getting a minimum of 3 guaranteed and a potential of 9 damage, which means he could one-shot any of them if he got that kind of result. So he moved in with 1 cube, spent the other on a close range attack, so he was also getting all his dice with no negative, and managed to roll a impressive 6 into Loader because he was the closest. Loader rolls just 2 defense dice, and because of what he wants to do, he could not afford to spend on extra shield dice. He did manage to block 3 though, so it's not all bad. He took 3 damage and has only 2 health left, which ain't great, but it does mean at the very least he has survived. He is definitely going to activate now so that we get to see the combiner mechanic. And so, towering over the battlefield, we now have the combined form of these deceivers. Loader, having activated, spent 1 cube to go over, and then every one of them spends 2 cubes to use their ultimate combining. And you go by the core combiner. You also go by his stats, so they get buffed by the combinations. So Dump Truck is the core combiner for this set, and the form Not Devastator. As I say, the newer updated model looks more unique, but this one is clearly homaged. He has 1 cube left over for his actual turn that he'll get. I believe you still go by the strategy rating of the core combiner as well. Gets a couple of extra bonus dice in close combat, 1 extra die for short range attacks, and I believe 2 extra shield dice on whatever you would normally have, which gives him 5 prior to any boosting. It does mean he's kind of wasted a turn, and there's no damage listed there now, but the damage on each individual bot is very important, so they're tracked on the cards to the top left of your screen there, because any damage that gets done to the combined form, you randomize which part of him takes that damage, and once one part of him dies, he collapses, which would be very bad for them. But it probably wasn't the smartest idea to do it, but it's a fun mechanic to show off. It's one of the better aspects of the game, that you can combine into these huge robots and just stomp around. If he gets the chance to have a proper turn next round, he'll absolutely wreck face. Such as it is, someone's going to get to go and then he gets to go, but he'll basically just have to stand there and shoot this turn. So Long Stride activated next for the Valiants down here. Their strategy rating 6 activation, spending 1 of the 2 cubes he was given to do a long range attack onto the combined form of the Deceivers. He's holding on to 1 because he's going to be the one who's shot at, because he's close to death, so why wouldn't they? So he's holding on to 1 energy to boost for that. And if he had landed a hit because of that nuclear shell roll, I think that would have meant that the combined form, I really don't know what to call him besides Devastator. If his nuclear shells had hit Devastator, I think that means he wouldn't have been able to do anything because he only has 1 energy this turn. But such as it is, he rolled 1 success on 2 dice, 3 down to 2 for a long range, and against 5 shield dice, he ain't getting past 4 block. So now it is over to the big man himself to wreak some vengeance. Well, that was a bit of a swing and a miss by Not Devastator. He only gets extra dice in close range. He doesn't have enough energy this turn to get in there, and he doesn't want to get in there because there's 2 people who are going to shoot at him, so he might as well make them come to him so they don't get to shoot him twice in close range. So he did stay at range, shooting with no bonuses, so it's just 2 dice again against the boosted 3 dice of Long Stride. He did actually almost hit him though. 1 success, 2 blocks, so nothing this turn, and that's the entire Deceivers round over because they only have the 1 big bot now. So Humvee and then straight to Duke would take us to the end of round 2. The game does go quick. Well, Humvee stepped out from hiding for 1 cube, spent his other to do a close range attack into Not Devastator, rolling 3 dice, getting 4 successes, but against 5 shield dice that got 6, not quite good enough. Have you ever seen that meme where it's Devastator laughing and then saying no and shooting eye lasers? It's usually attached to the one of, is it Astro Train? Blitzwing, I think, saying to the Constructicons, why don't you go build a bridge and jump off it? And anyway, irrelevant, but if you haven't seen those memes, I do really recommend them. He didn't do anything, so now it's over to the Duke to see what he can do. So General Duke had 3 energy. He spent 1 to move just within close range, and then spent the other 2 on a boosted close range attack. He did have the means, I think, to do his ult. If he'd spent 2 from where he was, you get a little bit of extra movement, you can ram into someone. Combiners are really, really dangerous in close combat. General Duke is good in close combat or long range combat because he's got 4 dice in either way because he's an Optimus Prime, but to try and mitigate how much damage the Combiner can do, it's a better idea not to go into close combat with him. And he did well. He rolled a total of 6, and on the shield dice, Not Devastator blocked 5. So that does mean 1 damage gets through. So now we have to randomise, and I'm just going to go down in the order in which the stat cards are listed. Who takes the 1 damage? It is whoever is second in the list, which was Roller. He already took some damage, so he's taking that, and he's going down to 3 health remaining. And that does take us to the end of the second round. It is worth mentioning, actually we'll cover that at the top of the third round. Let's do that. So at the top of turn 3 you can kind of get a glimpse there of how much energy has been given to everyone, which brings me back to the point I was about to make. What's to stop a Combiner having 1 billion energy cubes because there's only 1 model in the field, constantly boosting attacks, boosting defense? Well, to upkeep the combined form takes 2 energy per bot that it's made up of, which actually saps most of their available power. If you were playing a full scale match, 80 points instead of the 50 we're playing today, you would have additional deceivers on the table that would be providing energy, so you could give him more, you absolutely could, but with the smaller game we're playing today, he's actually only left with 2 cubes, so he'll still only really get 2 actions. But just keep that in mind if we were playing a fuller scale game. Yes, if you did have other people, they'd do less as a result, but they could feed him more energy to do more things. So anyway, Valiants go first, so one of their strategy rating 6s get to do a thing. Well, Long Stride activated, spending 1 cube to get into close range, much like General Duke did, and has spent his other on a close range attack, again trying to get that nuclear shells proc, because it would have meant he could only do 1 thing. But also once again, insert Devastator laughing and shooting eye lasers meme here. A roll of 5, which is respectable. Respectable? It's one of those days where you just can't talk. Respectable doesn't beat getting an 8, so no damage. Totally forgot that General Duke does actually give a kind of reroll bubble to 1 die once per turn per bot, as long as he can see them, but even if a 1 became a 3 there, which would be the best potential possible result, it still wouldn't be enough to get past the defense anyway. So now it's over to Big Daddy Not Devastator's turn, and I did actually make a mistake. You get extra 3 dice on top of the base, which is what I said, but I forgot the Dump Truck's base is actually 3, so should have been 6 shield dice. The base game actually only comes with 5. I do have extra that I'll look out now, but I have actually been rolling 1 less die than should have been rolling for his blocks. Combiners are very good at defending against damage. Anyway, first action, we're going to have to do it part by part because of limited dice. I really should have looked at that second set. He is firing into Long Stride. At close range, Combiners get 1 extra critical die thrown in for extra damage, and that let him get 6 to the 2 blocked by Long Stride, doing 4 and taking him off the table. So that means when it rolls around to another turn, he will not be providing the 2 he was, and it gives the survivors less to work with. And for his other energy, he did another close range attack since General Duke was nice enough to present himself. General Duke, anticipating potentially a lot of damage coming in, spent 1 of his 3 cubes on boosting his shield, so he actually gets to roll 5. And against a roll of 6, he was able to block exactly 6, so no damage. That's Not Devastator's turn done, so now he gets shot at by 3 of them, and he'll see if he can weather the blows. Well, of everyone likely to do damage, I thought it would be Forge Fire with that Magnetic Disruptor gun. He got 5 successes, but against 6 shield dice, now rolling the correct amount, 6 damage was blocked, so nothing got through. General Duke stayed where he was, spent his last 2 power to do a boosted close range attack, 5 dice against 6 shield. He managed to get 6, and Not Devastator managed to get 7. Well, of all the people to actually hurt him, I didn't expect it to be Humvee. He stayed still, spent both his cubes on a boosted close range attack, and got 7, and against a defense roll of 5, means that 2 damage gets through. So I have 2d6 here now, because I looked out the extra dice. Let's see where that damage goes. It goes on bot 1 and bot 2. That puts Roller down to 2 health remaining, and it's the first bit of damage on Dozer, putting him at 4 health remaining. He got pretty lucky with where that damage got dished out. And that's the end of the round. It's going to go thick and fast now. Top of round 4, not much to cover. 2 less energy on the field in total because of Longstride being killed, but they basically have the same energy distribution regardless. They've just powered themselves up with the energy they themselves provide, and Not Devastator only has the 2 actions again because of the reduced level of number of or total points played with. That's the way I want to say it. So it's either Humvee or Forge Fire, and I think it's going to be Forge Fire because he once again has the best chance to actually do damage. Well, not if you roll like that. He got 4, and only 4 was blocked, to be fair, but on a die where there's no fails and you're guaranteed a minimum of 1, it wasn't that great. He spent both his cubes, that's why there's an extra die. You don't get an extra crit die, which is a mistake I've made in the past. You just get a normal die thrown in, and of course it was a blank as well. Well, instead of shooting twice, Not Devastator instead spent 1 cube to walk into close combat with Noptimus Prime, and then spent the other to do a close range physical attack. Normally when you do that, you roll dice equal to your CA, close attack. You throw in 1 extra critical die. Unless you're a combiner, then you get 2 additional on top of that for a total of 3, which means you're rolling a lot of crit dice and could potentially do a lot of damage, much like he did here, getting 11. Now, General Duke buffed his defense, so he was getting 1 extra shield die. Still only blocked 3 though, so he took 8 and did live though, with 2 health remaining, just barely. Now if I remember rightly, I don't think you're allowed to shoot into close combat in this game. The person in close combat would have to disengage, but General Duke goes last in the turn, so that ain't going to happen. So I think if Humvee wants to do anything, he's going to have to get in close combat as well. Go double check that now though. Yep, you're not allowed to shoot into close combat. You're technically supposed to be actually touching bases. I didn't quite put it close enough, but still. Humvee moved in then and initiated a close combat attack against Not Devastator. You do get a bonus for every friendly in close combat as well. You get 1 extra die, and you still get the 1 crit thrown in as explained. And he rolled very well, getting 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, of which 4 was blocked. So 4 damage is coming in, so this is a really good chance for them to break him open. So we'll do this in 2 sets of 2, just roll up here, see what the damage is. The 3rd bot and the 4th bot, that is Loader down to 1 health remaining, and Dump Truck down to 2 health remaining. So if either one of these is a 3, he's going to fall apart. Oh, it's a 5 and a 2. 6s get rerolled, by the way, because there's only 5 combiners. That is Roller down to 1 health remaining, and it's the first bit of damage on Digger, putting him down to 4 health remaining. Well, I think General Duke may have just cracked the shell there, because he did a boosted close combat attack. He was getting supported by 1 friend, so that's an extra die there, and he got 11, 9, 10, 11, yeah, he got 11, of which only 5 was blocked, so that is 6 being dished out. So if this doesn't crack him open, I'll be very surprised. So 6 first bits of damage to 1 and 4, so that is 1 to Dozer, taking him to 3, and the 4 that puts Dump Truck on 1 health remaining. So if a 2, 3 or a 4 get rolled, they're done. 6 gets rerolled, but the 3 is already good enough, although I presume you would do the rest of the damage. So that kills Loader, he is dead, and that also kills Roller. There's still 2 more points of damage to deal with. That would be nothing, and that would be Dozer down to 2. I think they also take damage as they fall apart as well, so this is real bad for them. Yep, surviving bots take 1 damage as they all fall to the floor with a clatter, so that also took out Dump Truck, meaning that it's just Digger with 3 health left, and Dozer with, Dozer with 1 health left, as we go into what is almost certainly going to be the final round. And just as a matter of note, here is how the energy has been distributed at the top of the final turn. Forge Fire activated first for the Valiants, coming around the corner and shooting into Digger, making use of that disruption gun again and getting 6. Boosted his defense, managed to block only 2, was a bad roll. Definitely doesn't survive the 3 health he has left, so he is out of there. So really it just comes down to can Dozer maybe get a Pyrrhic victory by taking out Noptimus Prime? I guess we'll see, because there isn't much else he can do. And the answer for him, unfortunately, was no. Did both attacks, getting 4 in his first barrage and only 2 in the second. General Duke didn't even bother boosting. He rolled, 6, more than 6 actually, 2, 4, 6, 7, and then 5 on the second set, so no damage at all. And if Humvee doesn't get Dozer, Noptimus Prime certainly will. and to really just stick the knife in. Humvee only did one attack. He boosted it though for 4 dice close range and got 9 versus 3, and with only 1 health left, you better believe that that took Dozer right off the field, giving the Valiant the win at the cost of only 1 of their number. And that is going to do it for the return to Bot War after a long time in this viewer verdict video. So now's your chance to cast your vote, and if you are interested in seeing more of it first before deciding, you can go back and watch the backlog of the few times we've covered it over the lifespan of the channel, and then make it known whether you want more in the future as a regular feature. Apologies for anything done slightly wrong, it has been a while, and again, just as a reminder, some of these models are very old. The game has moved along since then. There's a second edition called Turbo Edition, and there are some new sculpts for a lot of these characters, so just keep that in mind. And there's sub-factions to the Valiants now which can part special rules. I'm pretty sure Combiners also have unique benefits now in their new iterations, but we were just using the old iterations here today, so do keep that in mind. Thank you for watching till the end. If you did though, please do go make it be known for or against. Enjoy the rest of your day. Check out the channel sponsor if you can, and if you do it via the affiliate link, I would be compensated, which I would appreciate. Or if you want to go above and beyond to support the channel, consider becoming a channel member or pressing the thanks button. Until next time, it's ta for now.